And welcome everybody. Welcome to another stream, another episode of Anime Sure, just like what it says up there. This will be episode 4 in total, episode 3 technically, with the new name because we initially started off as somebody different. We called ourselves At Random, thinking I think the initial idea was I was going to do a whole bunch of different stuff, do some sci-fi, some other things, and it just basically I decided, you know what, I'm just going to go directly into talking about anime and Bandori goodness, which is what we're going to get into tonight. So welcome to everybody who's here at the stream. I'm not seeing anybody else in chat. I do have a couple of viewers, it looks like. So hello, everyone. Hi there. Oh, there's a camera. Hi, camera. Look into the camera. Hi, guys. I don't know who all is watching. If you just want to jump onto the chat room and say hello, I will say hello back. Or maybe you're just going to sit there and listen to me. You'll have me on in the background, just like background music. So I can sing to you if you like. A little lullaby. Hey Jay, how you doing? Welcome aboard, Captain. That was kind of a little bit of a Mr. Sulu. Oh my, I won't go there. Oh, there we go, Stuka, boop. Hey, yeah, right here, fist bump, right there, boom, right there. Just duck if it gets too close. So we got two folks in chat. I'm pretty sure I've got some other people that I talked to on Twitter who are going to show up. May will probably come back. Haru, yo. Hey there, Haru. Say hello to Haru, everybody in chat. Haru, Stuka, Jay. Say hello. You guys saw each other last week. Oh, excuse me. So, welcome to chat. I think May's supposed to be here too. I'd heard that Ayako was going to be here too. We'll see. I'm sure they'll pop in. I know I was talking to May a little earlier about the classic recommendations I'm going to make, which is what we're going to talk about when we get to the anime portion of the show. But we're going to start off with a couple of things. I've got some shout outs that I promised I was going to do for this week. The first one is going to be a shout out to Amanda Gilliam. She is a podcaster, Twitch streamer, YouTube channel person. She's on Twitter as at Lady Vader 79, and she's got a channel called Amanda Gilliam Presents, and she does lots of gaming videos, like play stream, and does interviews with various creators. She's involved with a comic convention, and I'm blanking right now where she is. I think she's like in Idaho or somewhere in the Midwest. But I'm gonna throw down her details in the show notes afterwards. You guys go check her out. Check out our channel, especially if we've got some gamers there. Stuka, I don't know if you're still into online gaming. I know last week Field Medic, who turns out is somebody I know, her mom is one of my good friends from college, sister. So one of the guys that I was roommates with, who was a friend of mine from college choir, that's his nephew. So if Field Medic shows up, I'll harass him about that. I know who you are. I have you now. So anyway, check out Amanda's page. She's got lots of streams that she's been going on for quite some time, and I'm giving her a shout out because for the last couple of years, I've been following her on Twitter, and yes, exactly, Stuka, very very small. It's a small world after. Oh, I better not sing that because I'm pretty sure Disney has ears everywhere, and they'll come and get me, and they will destroy me. Anyway. So I would hate to have the litigious arms of Disney coming after me, although I do make fun of them in my stand-up when I was doing the act. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, she's been putting me in as part of her Follow Friday on Twitter, and so I figured, I found out about her YouTube channel. She made a announcement on Twitter a few days ago about reaching something like 200 or 300 subscribers on her channel. And she was like, "Hey, thanks you guys." So I thought, I haven't said anything. Yes, big mouse ears everywhere. They're everywhere. They're all over. Hi, May. Hey guys, May is here. May in the house. I'm not that hip. I can't do anything like that. Sorry, guys. But May's in chat. Hey, May. There's chat. Chat. Say hello to May. Good morning to you. I know. I know that Jay and Stuka are in my neck of the woods. They're actually just 10 minutes away from me. We won't go there. And then Haru and May are on the other side of the globe. That was a fake echo thing. So it's morning to them there. Good morning. Or since Haru and May both know a little Japanese, Ohayo gozaimasu, Ohayo, as Arisa would say, Ohayasa. Anyway, we won't go there. But welcome to the show. Yokoso. Kono bangumi e yokoso. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu. So anyway, Amanda, check her out if you're big into gaming. Go check it out. Anyway, as I was saying, she put me on her Follow Friday list, so I figured, I'll do something and kind of pay it back, pay it forward, like that movie from several years ago. I saw bits and pieces of it. But anyway, okay, the next person I wanted to do a shout out for is somebody that I started following on Twitter. This would have been 2-3 years ago? 2019, back when I decided, hey, I'm going to try and be an anime reviewer and do blog posts and do anime reviews, which lasted about 4 months, and then it kind of petered out. But neither here nor there. But anyway, I started following this one gal. She goes by the name of Bunny Cartoon on Twitter. Her name is Dawn. She's an anime reviewer, and she actually she's been doing a long-running podcast called the Anime Nostalgia Podcast. Yes, I've got my script here, which covers some anime, manga history, reviews, mostly anime from the 70s through the 90s. So if you're of that persuasion, probably, covering stuff like what was in the 90s? Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball, Kamehameha. I've never actually seen... no, I take it back. I've seen a couple of episodes of Dragon Ball, and all I remember was them spending 2 to 3 episodes powering up and then fighting. And at the time, it didn't really appeal to me. But, it's got its fan base. I mean, it's huge. Everybody knows Dragon Ball, so, it's one of those things. But, yeah, so anyway, so she's got a podcast, the Anime Nostalgia Podcast, and as it turns out, the most recent episode, she covered the anime from, this must have been 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, Vision of Escaflowne, which I'm going to talk about a little bit in our anime section, because I decided, I've not seen that yet. I've heard about it. I know of it. So I thought I'd give it a try, and I'm going to give my thoughts on, not those kind of thoughts. I learned that refers to something else that's probably not to be mentioned in mixed company, if I understand that. But anyway, a different kind of thinking thoughts. I'm not going to even try. Thinking thoughts about Escaflowne and other anime, but we'll get to that shortly. A couple of bits of news in case you guys weren't aware. Sentai, the folks behind High Dive, I believe, have started a podcast called the Sentai Podcast. It started on the 25th. It's supposed to be every other Tuesday, and the first episode that I just checked on, I didn't actually listen to it, covered the anime Made in Abyss, which I think I started on, if it's the one I'm thinking of. That was on, where was I? I think I was watching it on Amazon Prime, and I think that's the one with the two girls who kind of travel around in a buggy of some sort, and it's the far future and nothing's around and they're underground or something. I think that's the one. No, maybe it's not. Maybe that's Girls Last Tour, right? Stuka, I think you were telling me about that show. Anyway, I'm sure somebody in chat's gonna correct me. No, you're wrong. It was this one. Made in Abyss. I don't think I've seen it, but I remember seeing the what do you call it? The ad the still or whatever they call it, the title card for it on Amazon Prime. Not seen it yet. So their first episode was on that. Other news. Did you know it's FanimeCon right now? FanimeCon 2021 is virtual at this time, and apparently it's happening now through Stuka. Yes, Girls Last Tour. That was Ket Crado. Okay, yeah, that was the one. Okay, so it's not Made in Abyss. It's completely something different. So my mistake. It's okay. I'm grown up enough to admit that I made a mistake. It happens. My brain, such as it is. So anyway, FanimeCon, which I believe the in-person con runs out of San Jose down in California. That they've been going for a while, and apparently I saw something the other day that they're happening this weekend, Memorial Day, virtual. So they've got panels and all that good stuff. They missed it. It didn't hit my radar until last minute, and it might have been something kind of fun to look into. But maybe next year. Maybe if they do. Maybe when things get to a point now where we can actually go to a con, maybe that'll be one of the ones I'll head to. I know I want to head to SakuraCon, so hopefully that'll be coming up, because that's in my neck of the woods. That's just nearby. Speaking of conventions, another virtual convention going on is IdleCon. That's going to take place June 10th to the 13th. It's going to be virtual. They just started doing registration for it. It's free, from what I can tell, and they're doing all the panels on Discord. I'll draw, as usual, show notes afterwards. Sorry, that's crackling. I'm, tweaking stuff, tweaking the pages on my script, so it's getting that pop. Or I could say, I'm crunching my knuckles. I'm manly like that. Just kidding. So yeah, IdleCon is virtual con. I'll throw the link in the show notes. They're gonna be on Discord, and I'm mentioning it primarily because they've got, among their guests that they've got coming, which I believe are a lot of cosplayers. They've got two guests of note. The first of their guest of honors that I wanted to note is actually, some of us will know her, especially I'm sure May and Haru will know Kagami Karen, who plays Akashi Maho on D4DJ. She's going to be one of the guests of honor. She's from the unit Happy Around. Happy Around! And I can't do it right now. Speaking of which, speaking of Happy Around, Peaky PK, but not. Of course, I've got it. The party's on. The poppin'party. So, yeah. No, seriously. I know I wore this last show. I washed it. It's clean. I swear to God, I hit the laundry. I cleaned it, so it is clean. And I did bathe today, so I'm clean as well. I used deodorant and all that good stuff. So yeah, so Kagami Karen will be one of the guests of honors, and the other one who's going to be a guest of honor, and I'm surprised I don't have Ayako here to not make fun, but tease him, is going to be Sumigi Risa, who plays Izumo Saki from the unit Photon Maiden, also from D4DJ, and we all know her in Bandori as the DJ for Reza Suilin Choo Choo. So, yes. Oh, yes, definitely Poppy-pa fan representation. I've got it here. Oh, I've also got the towel, like I showed last time. Look at the towel. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. There's Saya! And, of course, my personal favorite is Arisa. Yes. like my bonsai fans. And there's Tai. Oh, Tai, there she goes. And of course, everybody's favorite cat ears, Kasumi. Kasumi, there we go. Who I have on the shirt. Anyway, there's my towel. Yay! So, put that to the side. So yes, Sumu is going to be the other guest of honor, and that brings us to our next segment, which we all enjoy. Here we go. Yeah, so Bandori appreciation time. So, a couple things I want to throw out there. This one is really cool. Haha. Okay, so this one is really cool. So, this was from Bushiroad's Twitter feed a couple days ago. Turns out that the Starbeat music video reached 3 million views. How about that? Yeah, round of applause. Look at that. 3 million. That was from their second single. And of course, I had to crop the picture, but I didn't want to crop all of them to just down here, so I kind of just the top of their heads. I mean, they're there. Look, I mean, the girls are there. They're awesome. Right? Right. And even better, here we go. Let's get back to the webcam. There. There's an even better picture of them. This is my shikashi, a little art board. Yay! Yes, poppin'party representation, as always, is a lot of fun. And speaking of Bandori, just a reminder, as we all know, and I'm sure you guys are probably going to tune in, the Girls Talk Party is going to be June 6th, next week, right? Yay, May! Yes, just hit us with those confetti blowers. Yeah, there we go. Girls Talk Party next week, June 6th, 6 p.m. Japan Standard Time, which is probably going to be the day before here on the West Coast. It's going to be live stream on their YouTube channel, on Bandori YouTube channel. And if you guys are interested, Jay and Stuka, just to see exactly what the hell I'm going on about. If you haven't watched Bang Dream yet on Crunchy or High Dive, I'll put the links up there. I'm sure the rest of us, I've already got my YouTube notification bell done, so it's going to tell me when that's going to be coming in. Some more, the Roz Zepp tour, where they're hitting all the Zepp musical halls through Japan, is going on right now. They'll be on the 2nd, which is next week, this coming week. They're going to be in Nagoya, and then on the end of the month in Namba. May, yes. No, I have not yet seen episode of Roselia. Nope. Yakusoku, no, not yet. I did buy it. So I spent my 20 there, and I prepaid for episode 2. Song of I Am? Song I Am, which comes out in July. So yes, so episode of Roselia Part 1 just started on the 22nd. It's going to go through Hachigatsu no If. Just kidding. It's going to go through August. And then Part 2 is going to be available starting the 24th. And I'm probably going to watch both of them when both are available. So I'm going to wait on that. It's going to be like three hours, I think, altogether. The first one is something like an hour and 10 minutes. And then the other one, yeah, I'm sorry, Haru, since you can't watch EOR, but maybe they'll have a Blu-ray. Come on, they gotta have a Blu-ray, right? And it's probably going to be on Animate, probably on Right Stuff Anime. So we'll see. Maybe they'll put a Blu-ray out for that, because I wouldn't mind owning a copy of the movie. So yeah. The other thing, I don't know if you guys saw that, the Bang Dream and ANIPLUS Cafe are having an event. Oh yeah, postponed because of COVID. And I kind of find it funny that Bushiroad is doing the live stream, but only in the US, and I hadn't heard anything about anywhere else. I mean, the episode of Roselia is only available in Canada and the U.S. I haven't heard anything for South America or even Europe. So it's kind of like, guys, come on. I'm sure there's fans there. There's a couple here, including me, in the U.S. Yeah, so let's get it out some more. I mean, yes, Ayako had said from his perspective, they're spending a lot of money in Japan, and I believe in most of Southeast Asia, and a lot of the countries in the area there, but they're only hitting a couple of bits and pieces here, and I'm sure you've got Europe has a lot of fans. I wouldn't be surprised if they'd go nuts if something like that was available. But yeah, so ANIPLUS Cafe is sponsoring a Zoom event, a Zoom meetup with Rimirin, our Choco Corne enthusiast, and Kudoharu from Roselia, SHIYOU. The two of them are going to do a meet and greet on the 16th of June. My notes say 7 p.m. Singapore time, and I think when I looked, it was $50 US. So whatever that equates to local currency, I'm not sure if you guys are able to do that. I say go for it. I'm not this time for me, although that would be kind of fun. You know, I gotta watch my my budget. There's other things that I'm kind of going in for, so so we'll take care of that as it comes time. Oh, by the way, tonight's show is sponsored by Starbucks again, because they're just down the road from me. So, you know what would be really cool? I think I mentioned this before. You know what would be a cool sponsor? I would like Animate USA to sponsor the show, and Bushiroad. Wouldn't that be cool? Anyway, all right. Dreams. One can have dreams. Right. So, speaking of episode of Roselia Part 2 starts streaming the 24th of July all the way through the 24th of October. And what else is in October? Ai's birthday. Her birthday's on the 17th. So speaking of birthdays, we've got Maho's birthday coming up on the 1st, and she's got her birthday channel, or her channel is going to have a birthday event, which turns out is going to also be pay-per-view, which I went and bought, of course. It cost me about 28 US. It was 3,000 points on Nico Nico, and apparently it's going to be unlimited streaming between the 31st, the 30th? Anyway, the 31st through the 21st of June. So as many times as I want to watch, and you can bet I'm going to watch at least a couple times, because the birthday show is going to have Ai as one of the guests, and I thought I had notes. For the other guest is another actress, another Japanese actress, and I can't find my notes right now. Look at me. Look at how prepared I am. Nope, I don't have it here. But anyway, I'm sure if you look at it. God, Abner, are you prepared? Nope. No, well, the important stuff. Maho's birthday stream. Yay! All right. That's all that matters. And of course, that leads us into my favorite section. What I call Cho Seiyu Sanjo, otherwise known as Ojo-sama. And of course, you know I'm going to do this again just because it's so much fun. All right, I'm gonna stop it there. You know why I like watching that. Not just because they're kind of goofy, but you know that maid costume is kind of cute on the two of them, and yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. But having said that, I do have as part of the Maho tributes on my show here, which just gives us enough time to get into the anime stuff. There is this one really cute bit that was on. I'm trying to. I think is one of the middle episodes of something like episode 9 or 10 of I Love Pro Wrestling. This is the two of them. This is an encounter between Maho and a little creature that Yukina Minato likes. So here we go. Oh, what's this? Fans. May says fans in Thailand are celebrating Maho's birthday by putting a message sign on a tuk-tuk. Oh, is that the one, that little scooter that the guy goes and drives off in? Because I think I saw her link to that. Or if there's another thing that, message. Yes, please, link. Thank you, May. Thank you. Arigatou gozaimashita. All right, so this is a little video clip from Maho having an encounter with one of Yukina's favorite critters. Here we go.
初心者の富田真帆をタッグパートナーに迎えてですね、ルールやレスラーの名勝負を、紹介していくコーナーとなっております。プロレスの魅力を余すことなくね、紹介していくという素晴らしい番組でございますよ。はい。何その猫
Sorry, I just like that clip. Just, she's having fun. Yeah. Yes. So, yes, please link. I think I bookmarked that tweet. But, go ahead, link to me. I'll hit it. I'll hit on my favorites. I thought that was pretty cool. Thank you, May. Once again, providing me with all the Bandori and fun stuff heading in my direction. So, we've done that. So, we've covered the appreciation corner. I talked about an unboxing. So we're going to have an unboxing. So I've got two things we are unboxing. The first one, which I have here, is this little package. It's from Right Stuff Anime. And I have a knife. And we're going to open. Let's see what we got. What do you think it is? What do you think it is, guys? Here. I'll give you guys some guesses, or a guess. Who wants to guess what this might be? You can probably guess what it is, right? Should I? I'm just gonna open it. Okay, here we go. Here, drum roll, please. No, there isn't one. Up, here we go. Ready, and if I can get to it. Up, here we go. How about that? Blu-ray. It's the Film Live #1. Film Live #1, which I think #2 is either already out or is about to come out, because I saw a poster tweeted. Ayako, there you are. Hey, everybody, say hello to Ayako. Ayako, I already mentioned Sumusumu's IdolCon appearance. You missed it. I was going to have you cheer and stuff. Yes, this is my unboxing knife. It's an SOG. I have to clean the blade because it's kind of nasty looking from other unboxings of other stuff. But yes, Film Live #1. #2 is supposed to be coming out, or it's already out. I have to remember, but yeah, I have it now. So now I have the 3 seasons, and DVD. The first season DVD has the OVA, where they play at the beach. So that's a fun one. And then I've got this to watch. So with my birthday's coming up next week. My birthday's the 3rd. Yay! Happy birthday to me. So I've got the next couple days off. I took the next couple days off. So I'm going to be watching. It's gonna be the next event rewatch. Yes, you've been doing my work. Oh, hey, he's been lurking. So he has been nearby. You're Ayako, you're working on some programming stuff, is that right? Is it a game? Is it something you can talk to us about? Is it hush hush? Do you have to sign an NDA? Do you have to kill us if you decide to talk about it? You're posting some stuff on Twitter on it, so I was kind of curious. Yes, so the next unboxing, I'll be watching the event watch. I can answer that question. What is the event watch? Abner, tell us about that. Well, I'll tell you about it when we get to the anime porching. Yes, anime binging. I got 3 seasons, an OVA. That's part of the end of season 1, and this, and then some more stuff I'm planning on binging. So that was unboxing #1. Unboxing #2. 2. Here we go. Here we go. Ready? Drum roll, please. So this one, Haru, you're going to enjoy this one. This one is a big box. And this one, the label here says Bushi Road Global Online Store. Here we go. All right, here comes a knife. And yes. Personal game dojo. Ooh, very cool. Yes, you'll have to link us to that when you're all done. If it's on the Google Play Store, Android Play Store, yeah, I'll throw you some. I'll throw you some greenbacks, as we Americans like to say. All right, so there's incision number 1. I've got. Here we go. Look, I'm yes, attacking the box. Listen to all the box destroying noises. There. Here we go. Okay. Dang, they really packed some packing. Oh, here. Oh. Is it here? The rest of it. Packing? Okay, alright. Off to the side. We're going to, global more like... Is it really just this USA store? Because I could have sworn that the stuff from the global store also funneled to the USA store. I figured they were two different places. Maybe I'll just also stick with CD Japan for some more of my stuff. Maybe Animate too. Books Kinokuniya. All right, here we go. Drum roll. Oh wow, it's in a little envelope. Oh, here. Haru knows about this one because I told her about it. Part 1, and May, you're gonna like this. Oh, here we go. Look at that. Dado Rose box of Roselia cards. Oh yeah, look at that. So this is a full box with all of them. Now, I have to say, when I bought this, I bought the set that had a PR card. I think it was like a special edition card of II as Yukina. I got an email a couple days ago that told me, or that said, that card was undergoing shipping delays. So it's it didn't come in with this particular shipment. God damn it. But that's okay, because yeah, so they're gonna tell me when it's coming, and I'm gonna go ahead and open this because I want to see what we got in here. Let's see here. I don't want to kill my fingers. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, there comes the plastic. Here comes the plastic. Here come the plastic. There's a. Oh, look at that. This is a really cool. Oh, it's the box is one of those display cards. Oh, check it out. That is cool. Hang on here. Let me see if I can make it do the thing. I really don't want to mess it up. But no, see, I don't know if you guys can see this. If you look at the box really close, it's perforated around them, so it's one of those where you can pop it up and then it sits in the back and this kind of comes up. I gotta. Oh yes. Oh, that's right. Ayako is gonna help out some friends of his move. Laura, hey everybody, Laura's here. Ayako, we'll see you next week. Have fun and don't work too hard, okay? May, hope you get the shiny rare card. I don't know what the shiny rare card is. Laura, everybody, say hello to Laura. You guys remember her from last week. So this box is awesome. Yeah. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 packs of cards. I have no idea how many cards are in there. I could sit here and open these and go, ooh, but that's just going to be too much fun. So I'm going to wait on that. But yeah, I got a 10 pack of cards. Awesome. I have no idea what's going to be in there. They're probably going to be random cards. Watch, they're all going to be, they'll have one, II, and the rest of them are going to be Kudoharu. Or Canon. Or maybe Meguchi. Who knows? Yeah, but I'm gonna save the opening for later because that's gonna be a lot of fun. Speaking of cards, remember when I did the unboxing a couple weeks ago? When I got, you know, the towels and the t-shirt and stuff. So that was an Animate promotion that they said if you spend $15 or more on items in the store, I spent more than $15 because I got all that stuff. For every $15 spend, they send you a special sticker and a special Vice Schwarz playing card. So what I ended up with, and I actually looked through, are these. So these are the special promo stuff. They're little shiny stickers. So I got, can you see that? Kokoro. I got, I believe that's Lisa. That's this. No, that's Kaoru. Isn't that that's Kaoru, right? From Hello Happy. It's fleeting. There's Lisa. There we go. Look at that. Check that out. Little tiny sticker. Lisa. And then Pario. Yay! Yay for Pario. Choo Choo's good friend. Oh, yes. SHIYOU. And I don't recognize this person. Anybody know who that is? Is that from Morphonica? Because I don't recognize all their people yet. Somebody let us know. May, Haru, Laura, do you guys know who that is? And let's see. Oh, and Pasupari. That's Eve, right? And then Rachel. Yay, look at that. And then the other regular playing cards we have Kasumi. There, I'm gonna show it up. There, and then Yukina. Oh, it was Tomoe. Yeah. Thank you. And then Ron. I know we got some Ron fans. Ron. A little, she's kind of punk with the hair. She's pretty cool. Everybody's favorite backflip person with her people in suits. Suit people. Men in black. And then got more, and then this one says from Morphonica. I don't know who those are yet. And then this is from Roz. I believe that's Rachel. Two of them. She's got double the power. So I guess I'm not really sure how these cards work. So it's probably part of the game. So anyway, those are the cards that came with the previous unboxing. So those were like the promo, really fun cards. Shiny rare card May, I don't know what that means, but I'm kind of curious. So when I open those, I will let you know if I get the shiny rare card. So it'll be really fun if I get one of each. That'll be pretty cool. So we'll put Kokoro up front, back into the little bag that it came with. Okay, so we have finished the unboxing. Let us move on to, you guys ready for some anime? Anime chat, anime talk. Here we go. All right. As soon as as I get this back in the plastic. There we go. All right. Yes, I have fingers. I have opposable thumbs. All right, here we go. Anime. So some news that just came up that I thought was going to be pretty cool was they just announced a second season. And no, it wasn't for Bofuri or for Kuma Bear, which would have been really fun. But there is a second season for Bofuri. I haven't heard when that's supposed to be, but there's a second season due out. Roselia! Look at that. Okay, I'm going to... Sorry, set that aside. So, My Next Life as a Villainess has a season 2 coming out apparently on July. And have you guys seen any of that? Because I finally caught it a couple months ago. That's actually pretty cool. I wasn't sure exactly what I was expecting. I was thinking, it's gonna be kind of hokey, kind of weird. I mean, the premise is interesting enough. The main character falls into I think it's supposed to be like one of those romance simulations. Not exactly a dating simulation, but it's more like a visual novel simulation gaming. I'm not sure what they're called. But anyway, it's part of the game. She gets into it, and she's played it before. And apparently in the version she plays, everything that happens causes her death in the game, or something really bad happens to her. So she's trying not to have that happen. And it's kind of cute. A little bit of a rom-com, the romantic storyline there. But anyway, it's getting a season 2, so I'm really curious. Yes, May has seen it. So that's Jay and Stuka. If you're interested, go check it out. I believe it's on Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll? Yeah, it's on Crunchyroll. That's where I was watching it. So check it out. It's kind of fun. So here we go. Saint's Magic Power, which I think it should have dropped episode 8. I've seen 7 where we hear about the other girl that shows up in the land that Sei gets pulled into, and we finally figure out what's going on with her. And I like what they did. I like that we finally got to see what's going on with her, and her name escapes me right then. Aria or Arai, something like that. But anyway, find out what happens to her because the crown prince, Kyle, was the one who grabs her, saying she's the saint and not Sei, completely ignores Sei, and then runs off with her and says, I'll take care of the saint. Little does he realize. So we kind of get to see what's happening on that side of the story. We've been watching Sei and getting her take on things and seeing what's going on with her. I've got a sneaking suspicion I'm kidding. That invading the land, because there's always going to be kaiju, and they got to combine. They got to grow big like Ultraman, and then the little light sensor will flash when there's not enough power and he shrinks back. We won't go there. Too many tokusatsu shows when I was a kid. Johnny Sakona's Flying Robot another time. But no, I like what they've been doing, and I found it interesting that they decided to show this side of the prince, the crown prince, who, so far as we've seen, just seems to be your typical asshole, right? And I thought it interesting that they decided to show a different side of him, saying, no, he's not an asshole. He's just playing at being the fool, is what it's coming across as. But I thought it was also interesting that they brought in, in this episode, we meet his major domo, the guy who, I believe if the prime minister passes or dies, he becomes the new prime minister. So it's like his second in command, kind of sort of. It feels more like his lackey. But anyway, he makes an interesting comment in the episode that there's a scene where they're up on a tower, or looking out onto the town, and the prince is contemplating something about the people that live in the kingdom, in the city. And he says the servant major domo, second in command guy, said something about something along the lines of, we're just trying to help the people. They don't know what they're doing, so we want to tell them what to do to be better people. And that kind of threw an alarm in my head, because it's always going to be, it's always that group of people who have their own version of what the world is supposed to be like, and to them it's going to be better. But that always calls to mind that sequence from Serenity, when the operative says, we just want a world where it's going to be like this, this, and this. And Mal says, so me and mine have to die so you can have your world. So that always goes, raises the hackles in my head. So I'm kind of curious to see where they're gonna go with that. If there's gonna be some like a fantasy version of a pogrom, you're gonna do what we say, or to the camps with you, or something like that. So curious to see. I think the next episode should have already dropped, so I'm gonna check that out. Onward. Don't toy with me, Miss Nagatoro. There's definitely something going on, and they started pointing more toward it in the episode that just dropped, which I think is episode 7, I believe, or it could be episode 6 and episode 7 just dropped. Anyway, it's the new one. The new one actually dropped today, but I saw this one on Friday, and I kind of like what they're doing. I'm thinking the whole I'm making fun of Senpai is getting old. I don't know how much more they want to keep doing that, because now it's just getting irritating to me. I mean, I can see she's showing feelings for him, especially in this episode that just passed, and I found it kind of cool and kind of interesting, because there's a confrontation between some kids, between a couple of guys who on the group and think they've got the run of the place. And Senpai comes up and says to Nagatoro, it's time for us to leave. And she gets up with a grin on her face and says, oh yes, let's go. And then the other two friends who've been picking on him get up and go too, and leave the guys in the dust. And they're like, the hell just happened? And they go off walking. They continue to make fun of him, but it doesn't seem as harsh as it did before, although I think the whole thing is starting to get old for me, and if they continue to do that, I'm just gonna try and find where's the good stuff, where the nice little sweet sentimental pieces in the show that kind of make it worthwhile to watch, because the whole teasing stuff is just starting to grate on my nerves. But anyway, I'm curious to see how much more they're gonna go with that. We're already more than halfway through. If there's going to be 12 episodes, more than halfway through season 1. Now, this next show that I give thoughts on are the ones that you guys told me about last week, Bento. And as much as you're going to tell me this is a food anime, I'm not seeing it as that. I mean, food does play a role. I mean, they're going after the half-price bentos, right? So, but it's not, the entire show isn't about the food itself. I'm enjoying it because, oh my god, the half-pricers, what is it? I like the story about the characters and why it is they do what they're doing, and especially our two main characters, which I'm blanking on their names right now, but the fact that the episode I just finished watching was he's going after not the rugby team, the other team that said, "Hey, come and join us." And we've got a tactic where they call themselves the pack, and we've got a tactic where we go anybody. And at first, it seems really cool because they get in front of everybody, and then the group is able to go in, grab food, and leave. But then he makes the point that because there's no struggle, it doesn't taste as good. I suppose that's kind of a food anime thing, if that is one of the things. But I just like the fact that he's becoming his own person in a way, figuring out who he is by fighting for food. So it's both fighting anime and I guess food anime, although the fighting part I think is kind of cool, especially when the ice cold witch shows up and just basically kicks everybody's butt. Alright, so next one, Quintuplets. Just finished second season, and really, thankfully there's a follow-up movie apparently for this one, because just as I thought they were going to actually resolve what they left hanging in season 1. We still get more questions, and I'm like, come on. I'm 100% Team Miku, if you know what I mean by that. If you've watched the show, yeah, then you know what I'm talking about. I want it to be Miku. Seriously, I don't really care about the other characters. Miku. It's gotta be her. And if it's not her, I'm gonna be very upset and say, screw this show. But so apparently the movie, from what I can tell, is supposed to wrap everything up. Why they couldn't have wrapped it up in season 2 of the anime, I don't know. Maybe it's, I don't know what I don't know what that's all about. I just wish that they had wrapped it up and not just dropped more questions at the end of season 2. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. They haven't said yet when the movie is supposed to come out, so we'll see. No, here we go. So I mentioned it earlier. The retro anime podcast that the Anime Nostalgia podcast that Dawn at Bunny Cartoon runs was just talking about Vision of Escaflowne. Escaflowne. Now, I've never seen the show. I remember hearing about it, and I think it was in the late 90s, early 2000. I heard about it somehow, either through some friends that were talking and had mentioned it, and I think I had seen an episode or two, because the chanting that I heard in the show was exactly the chanting that I remember hearing way back when. What, 20 years ago. If that is, God, I'm old now. 20 years ago, I was watching Vision of Escaflowne. Escaflowne. Anyway, it's like that Gregorian chant. It's really creepy. Not creepy, but it's got that, it makes me think of church. And if there are any Catholics in the room, you know the kind I'm talking about, where all of a sudden there's just incense. It's, I get a whiff of incense whenever I hear that, and it's like, it's kind of, it's odd. But anyway, so some thoughts on that. Actually, I was very surprised, because I had half expected originally that Aura Battler Dunbine, which I remember hearing about when I was in high school. There was a magazine that had the synopses for, I think there was 26 episodes. It's either 24 or 26 episodes of the anime. I'd read the entire synopses, and I was like, oh, I have to watch this show because it's fantasy. It's got mecha and magic and, you know, all that cool stuff. And it showed up on High Dive, and I said, yes, I can finally watch it. And it was fucking boring. I did not last episode 1 because 20 minutes in, I got bored. I was like, I don't really care about any of these people. The main character, he's an idiot, for one. He doesn't do anything. And I'm really bored. There's not an... I mean, for whatever reason it was, the synopses made it sound so much better than it actually was. And I was very, very disappointed because I didn't even get to a whole lot of the mecha that they were going to use. And apparently the main character was supposed to have some affinity for the mecha, and he had powers or, you know, psychic abilities or whatever. But anyway, but Escaflowne, 3 episodes. It's 4 episodes now, and I'm all in. I'm all in like I am with the Half Price Club in Bento. I'm gonna watch more. I'm enjoying this more than I thought I would. The main character, who is a girl, she gets pulled into this other world, and apparently, from the little I read, she's got an affinity for certain psychic abilities that will play a part in the kind of conflict that she finds herself in. Now, I've seen some other isekai that let's see. Delta Sierra, who was in chat last week, had mentioned it to me. There's a show called The 12 Kingdoms. I think as a high school student gets pulled into, it's another isekai, so she gets pulled into an unfamiliar fantasy type world. And prior to that, I had seen Fushigi Yugi, which is quote a classic anime of that stripe. I got bored by those two. Seriously, I mean, they're supposed to be. I thought they were supposed to be really good, but I couldn't stand how. Let me see how I can put this. The two main characters in both shows, female, but when they get to the other world, they didn't do anything except they were kind of like Shinji. They get, or is it Shinji? Yeah, our main character from Evangelion. All they did was complain or scream and throw a tantrum. Didn't do anything. And I was like, but I don't want to follow anybody like that. At least in this one, the main character finds herself in this other world, and she's actually doing stuff. Not a whole lot in the beginning, but she's active in what's going on. And for whatever reason, I'm enjoying that much more than what was happening in the previous one. And I think I watched about 4 or 5 episodes of 12 Kingdoms, and I said, I'm not going to do this anymore. And I got Fushigi maybe 3 episodes in, and it was like, yeah, I'm done. But anyway, so those are thoughts for that. Killing Slimes, I'm looking forward to additional episodes. I'm liking what's going on. The Demon King, who turns out to be this little girl and then gets headbutted, and now somebody's going to die. Oh God! Somebody on Twitter was complaining, or made the comment that the show so far has been about meeting a whole bunch of new characters, but nothing is really going on in terms of an overall storyline. And I was thinking about that. I don't think there's meant to be an overall, it's not a quest story. The main character is basically trying to just live her life, and she's meeting these people who kind of make things difficult for her to continue living her life. It's more, I'm getting the sense it's more of a sitcom type of thing, where it's just, shit happens, and how do we get out of this one? It's kind of like it's more slice and life, more so slice and life than most slice of life ones, where they kind of have this overarching storyline that fits the entire story. This one is just it's strictly episodic, so a little bit here and there. I mean, they build on things that have been happening in the past, so you kind of get an overall history. But I think it's more of, this happens here, now this happens here, and how do they get out of this one? And I think that was the purpose. At least that's what I'm seeing for this one. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens, and if she's going to die, because she's a ditz. But I like her anyway. The one show that I do want to find more of, and I actually need to start, because now there's 8 episodes of it, and it has some Bandori people doing the OP and ED, and our characters are playing characters in the show is Joran, Princess of Snow and Blood, or is it Princess of Ice and Blood? The one with the alternate Japan with the magic and sword fights. So I want to check that out. So now here we go to the big part of the show, and we're it's about an hour in. Classic anime recommendations. Here we go. So I was thinking about this after May brought it up last week. What would I recommend for in terms of classics? Now, my definition of classic is probably not going to be, your typical elitist. I'm not going to gatekeep, but I think I started talking about it a little bit last week, where I said I think it's a good idea for in any kind of, not necessarily fandom, but in any type of, what's the word I'm looking for? whether literature or fandom or genre, I think one should have any person who wants to be, I suppose you can say, well read, or at least knowledgeable to in general of what they're talking about, should have at least a grounding in what I would consider the fundamentals of that genre. So if you were, a fan of, let's take science fiction for example. There's a lot of people who like science fiction who are basically science fiction because it's Star Wars onward. Or it's it's the Warhammer 40k onward, and that's all the science fiction they know, which is great for that. But I think if you want to be able to talk about science fiction as a whole, I think it's good to know what came before, to see who kind of paved the way for everybody that came afterwards. I mean, science fiction, if you don't talk about Asimov and Heinlein and Clarke, you're completely missing out on what they did that informed everybody that came after them. I mean, Zahn, Walter John Williams, everybody who's coming after them now owe it to these guys who kind of paved the way, right? Asimov started writing the Galactic Empire stories, the Foundation stories. I remember hearing somebody say they started reading Foundation, but they found it boring and wanted to read more the Galactic Empire stuff that was more done today, in the later half of the 20th century. But if you don't know what was done in the past, I don't know. I think I don't know that you can necessarily speak well of what's happening in the present. Another way of looking at this would be, there was something I saw online a couple years ago. It was shortly after, I think it was the Benicio del Toro movie, the remake of The Wolfman came out. And somebody had posted online that said, "Oh, this is crap. All they're doing is they're stealing from Twilight." And I remember reading that and saying, "Oh, you poor fool. Do you not know that werewolves go all the way back to Lon Chaney's The Wolfman, which came out in the 30s? And this is springboarding off of that movie. And if you didn't know that, how do you call yourself a fan of paranormal fiction if you're not grounded in what came before?" It's like saying, all I read is Stephen King, but I don't do anything with Lovecraft, for example. For all the crap that Lovecraft gets, because he's racist and he came from his depictions of non-whites are racist, and for all of that, the man was writing fiction about stuff that nobody was writing about at the time. And the way he portrays it, Jay, I know you're a big Lovecraft fan, so this is going out to you. If you're a horror aficionado and you don't know Lovecraft, I don't think you really know horror, or at least that aspect of the supernatural. That's kind of what I'm thinking of when I'm talking about grounding in the classics. I think I made the mention of Shakespeare in the past. I don't think you can you can say you're grounded in Western literature, for example, without you don't need an in-depth knowledge of anything that Shakespeare wrote, but know that he sort of set the bar for what literature becomes later on. I mean, for one thing, we wouldn't have West Side Story or hell, High School Musical without Romeo and Juliet. Yes, he used material that predated him, but his depiction ends up influencing everything that came afterwards, right? I was making some notes here. Yes, yeah, exactly, yeah, exactly, Jay. For instance, Star Trek 6. Okay, everybody knows the subtitle, right? The Undiscovered Country. You guys know that comes from Hamlet, right? There's a line from Hamlet about death, the undiscovered country, which makes it even more resonate even better about, just the symbolism inherent in the phrase the undiscovered country. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of when I talk about, especially for anime. I think it's good to be grounded in some of the classics, so you kind of know the things that are out now have their history in stuff that was done way back. Here's a great example. There's a show right now, a futuristic boxing anime called Megalobox, right? You think, wow, that's cool. That's like groundbreaking. Well, don't forget, back in the 60s, we had an anime or a manga called Tomorrow's Joe, Ashita Joe, about a young boxer, kind of like a Rocky story. That was done back in, I'm reading my notes, started in 68. It ran from 68 to 73 as a manga, and there was a movie, or an anime, I think 20-something episodes that ran from 70 to 71. So Megalobox isn't new. It's borrowing from all this stuff in the past. We've got shows like On Taxi, where the entire cast are animals, and this is cutting edge stuff. We've got Beastars. Look, anthropomorphic animals. Miyazaki was working on a little show called Sherlock Hound, which was a retelling of the Sherlock Holmes stories, but with dogs, anthropomorphic dogs. And it was a co-production between an Italian company and Tokyo Movie Shinsha that came out in the early 70s. So, great, we have Beastars out here. It may be new, but, I mean, Miyazaki was already working with anthropomorphic animals in the past. Several, back in the 70s. Baseball anime, Princess Nine, right? And we've got the baseball, a whole bunch of baseball anime that comes. All the sports anime. I would have to say, I mean, hell, we've got Haikyuu, volleyball anime, Scorching Ping Pong Girls, Ping Pong. As an anime, it seems like it's all new, but we can't forget, Tomorrow's Joe, Ashita no Joe, and Star of the Giants, one of the earliest baseball animes that came out in 66. The anime was in 68, but the manga came out in 66. So all the foundations are way back. If we don't know, and we just say, "Oh, this is all new. Nobody's done this before." Yes, they have, but we're not just looking. We're not looking at what came before. I mean, that's like saying fantasy is all Terry Brooks and George R.R. Martin, right? But Talkin and even Lord Dunsany were their predecessors. They were doing that stuff in the past. They were talking about elves. I mean, if you want to go all the way back, you've got Mallory's Mort d'Arthur. The King Arthur retelling, that was sort of like the basis for a lot of fantasy that came later. They were using all the tropes were there. They were setting it up for everything that came afterwards. We could say, what do I have? Mercenaries taking jobs, and Black Lagoon. Yeah, that's new. This is upgrade. Well, if you go back to about 79, 80, we had pilot mercenaries working out of a Middle Eastern country, and that was a show called Area 88. And I remember that because I read some of the comics that were first translated by Viz Comics back in the 80s. So I'm coming from I'm an old guy. I'm going to say right now, I'm 48 years old. My first anime that I remember watching was something that the American company called it Force 5 Star Avengers, which is basically a recompilation, re-editing of the show Getter Robo G from Japan. I ended up watching it was a 2-hour movie version that was on Showtime, and that I first saw it in 1981. So that was my first anime that I remember. I have recollections briefly of a show, the show Voltus 5, from when I was living in the Philippines when I was a kid, and I remember hearing that, and I've seen the video of the theme song, and it rings a bell in my head. I don't remember ever watching it, but I'm pretty sure I have, because I can remember bits and pieces of that melody. And then from there, next was Warriors of the Wind, which was the Americanized version of what I found out later to be Noshka. Recut and redubbed with an English class. I go all the way back to Star Blazers. Before I knew it was Castle of Cagliostro, it was actually used as a video game, a Laserdisc video game called Cliffhanger. And that was my first introduction to Lupin, the third. So I'm going way back. So I find it interesting when I'm listening to some of these younger kids, on Twitter saying, "Oh, this new stuff just came out. It's groundbreaking. It's this and that. Nobody's ever done this before." Yeah. You want harem anime? Urusei Yatsura, Rumiko Takahashi was doing that in the 80s. Maison Ikuku was one of the early ones. You want harem? Go back to her, because she was doing harem before harem was harem. So those are some of my recommendations. I think last week I started with, if you want a good giant robot anime that was beyond just robots fighting and have more of a human element, go check out Macross. Super Dimension Fortress Macross, the first one. I haven't seen some of the later ones. Go with the first one. That's the original, and then if you want to see a variation on that, a little more, even more so, with more stuff going on, not necessarily just fighting aliens in spaceships, then you can watch Mobile Suit Gundam. And I have not yet seen the anime, but I read the novels. Who was it? Del Rey Books, actually in the mid 80s, translated or brought out an edition, a 3-volume edition of Tomino's light novel for Mobile Suit Gundam. It was in 3 parts. Unfortunately, I no longer have copies of that. I think I lost them in a move, but I read the story there first, and I've always, at the time, it wasn't available, and if it was fan subbed, 6th generation videotape. You guys remember videotape? VHS of a 3rd generation copy of a 5th, so it was like 12 generations removed. Really bad video, probably bad sound that I remember. Barely able to see the subtitles, but if it existed, that was probably the way we got anime back in the day. That was fan subbing was alive and well, but videotape quality just sucked. It sucked. So you were lucky if you got something that you could actually see and watch, and the tracking wasn't killing the entire picture at the time. So yeah, that would be recommended. Nausicaa, go back to Nausicaa. You want really good early, this is pre-Ghibli, Miyazaki. That's my recommend. A classic recommendation would be Nashika, Kaze no Tani no Nashika, Nashika of the Valley of the Wind. Watch the original Japanese. In another show, I'll talk about thoughts about the English version. That, hey, it has Patrick Stewart, but I have issues regarding that. What's your opinion? Oh, Pat Labor. Yes, that's another classic older robot anime, and this is one where we get giant robots, but in a what would you call it? In a practical kind of situation where they're being used for labor, manual labor kind of thing. Instead of machines like forklifts and what, they were using labors, and then people decide, I'm going to commit a crime. It's like people committing crimes with a forklift, right? Although the forklift weaponized forklifts, and then you get the anti-forklift police force. I actually have Pat Labor on my queue, and I'm really curious to watch because I remember catching bits and pieces of it when I was in high school, and I thought, hey, this looks kind of cool. I wanna watch some more. So I would class that too as a classic, especially the original show, which I think is on. I think I've got that queue on High Dive right now. So I'm really curious about that. Yeah, another one, if you want a harem plus supernatural powers or kind of psychic powers, I would recommend Kimagure Orange Road, which I think it's on Retro Crush right now, I believe. If you want to check it out, I believe it's there. I want to say it might also be on Funimation, but I would have to double check on that. I saw that one in college. I came home for summer break one year. I think it was have been sophomore year in college. So this would be, yes, I'm going to tell you, this would have been 92, 91, 92, right around in there. And my best friend Patrick and his brother were big into KOR, Orange Road. So somehow they'd gotten their hands on, and these weren't subbed. These were, there are no subtitles at the time. They had gotten their, imported from Japantown in San Francisco. They had imported the laser discs. I think it was all 26 episodes of Orange Road. So I got copies on videotape, and I think I watched it all. And I figured out more or less what was going on. I knew no Japanese at the time, but you kind of suss out what's going on, and I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. It was very much, strange powers from the family, and then a romance between a romantic triangle, a love triangle between the three main characters. So it's not quite the extensive harem. You probably want Orosei Yatsura for that. Maison Ikuku is the same thing. And then, I suppose you could throw Ranma 1/2 in there. It's kind of a weird, strange harem show. And again, these are older, 80s, 90s, early to mid 90s shows. And then you get all the other harem ones that you get now with, one guy and 8 girls and whatever's going on. But these were the ones that were laying the foundation, the road. Space Western. You say space Western anime, everybody's going to think of Cowboy Bebop, right? But back in the 80s, we had Space Adventure Cobra, which was basically the template that Cowboy Bebop kind of works off of, because the main character is sort of like a space pirate troubleshooter Han Solo type character, with I think it was that one I had not seen except for bits and pieces, and I'll explain the bits and pieces a bit in a moment. Bits and pieces, I think he had an android sidekick who was a female. Yes, Ranma's hilarious. I'm like, if you haven't seen Ranma 1/2 yet, I think Funimation has it now. Go check it out. It's friggin' hilarious. I'm not going to say anything more than it's friggin' hilarious. And the Saotome School of Anything Goes martial arts is the best. Oh my god. The first time I started watching Ranma was in college. Was my sophomore year. I was living off campus. No, junior year, third year in college. Living off campus in a house. Went to a video store that was about a block away. Wanted to rent some movies and noticed they had anime, and Ranma 1/2 was one of the titles. I think they had volumes 1 through 3, and I think there was like 3 or 4, maybe 5 episodes per videotape volume. So I rented all of them and watched it back at the house I was at with my roommates. And they thought it was weird just because of the premise, I was enjoying it. I was having the time of my life. I think I rented it. I must have rented it 2 or 3 times before finding other stuff that was there too, including the Guyver and Blue Submarine #6, I think it was called, and some other anime titles there. So yeah, Run was great. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. That would be another recommendation for a classic, quote unquote, anime. Go have a look at that. But like I was saying, before Bebop and even Trigun, which is sort of like a Western type of thing, bounty hunter, go search Vash the Stampede, go after him, he's worth a bounty. We had Space Adventure Cobra, and I think it was he had a mechanical arm that was also a gun, is what I remember. And he had a sidekick who was sort of like a female C-3PO android girl type thing. So there's that. And if you really want to go space adventure, space opera, and you want to think, oh, well, we've got the Slayers, right? 2 girls who are just causing shit in a fantasy world. That's got to be groundbreaking. Let's go to the future and remember Kei and Yuri of the World Work Welfare, otherwise known as Dirty Pair. And you want shit to blow up, send them in for a mission, and explosions galore everywhere. You never know just what they're gonna do. Some building is gonna come down because the Dirty Pair are on the job. They actually did a reboot, I think, in sometime in the early 2000s. New look for the 2 characters, but pretty much the same type of stories. They go in, they're supposed to just take care of something. It's easy. All hell breaks loose. And that's pretty much the Dirty Pair in a nutshell. So you want someone before the Slayers, go back to the Dirty Pair. That's no, I have not mentioned Outlaw Star yet. I still want to watch that. I think you were the one who told me about it last time we talked, and I have it on my queue on Funimation. I will get to it at some point, along with everything else that I'm trying to get to. Yeah, that one looks supposed to be really good. I've heard some good stuff about it. So yeah, definitely Outlaw Star. Throw that in your queue. There's another classic recommendation for you. And since we are going with that, if we're going to go cyberpunk, near future stuff, Akudama Drive, you've got a whole bunch of other stuff. Ghost in Shell, right? Groundbreaking new stuff. Go back to the early 80s to Akira and Appleseed. Early Shiro. Appleseed, you're going to see it there. Even better, Bubblegum Crisis. One of my favorite 80s cyberpunk chicks in power suits kicking ass, right? With a really cool forget Bubblegum Crisis 2042. Personally, I thought that sucked. It did not have the same vibe as the original, because the original had the main character actually starts off at a concert, giving a concert with this like really rockin' hard rock theme song, Konyawa Hurricane. Go look it up, and it's quintessential 80s. I think the remake tried to kind of bring it up to a more modern day, quote, modern day flair, but doing so kind of, I think they killed the 80s vibe that made it so cool. And then it ended with this strange sort of religious messianic thing that they were doing, which what? Yeah, so no go on 2042. Give me the original. Just give me straight the original. So let's see, what other ones am I gonna recommend? I think that was the end of my. So I think just all of those would be a good, if you're looking for some classic old school anime, I would recommend those, because those were, for their time, those were the quintessential anime shows. Another one would be if you're looking for more giant robot but more of an urban flair. I would recommend Megazone 23. I think there were 3 parts altogether. I've seen 2. Megazone 23 Part 1 and Megazone 23 Part 2. They've got a more urban feel with giant robots, and there's a nice twist that they throw in there. So go ahead and check that out. Pretty much anything that came out in the 80s. We're talking AD Police. Let's see, Black Magic M66 was another Masamune Shiro one. So pre Ghost in the Shell, he was already doing stuff with near future stuff. Appleseed, not the CG ones. The anime that came out, it was okay. I would much recommend if you can pick up the manga, which are in 4 volumes, and I don't know if they're still around. You might be able to find them on like used half-price books or eBay or something like that. I would recommend the manga if you want to read early Shiro, especially Appleseed. That would be one to get to see what they were doing in terms of cyberpunk. Akira the movie, of course, is a classic in and of itself. The manga is huge. I think the last time I saw it, it was like, something like this, 400 pages plus or something like that. So it's definitely a hearty read. But the movie itself was innovative for when it came out, and I think it's still innovative even to today. So if you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. I'm pretty sure, I want to say Amazon has it, but I know it's on Funimation. So if you guys can get to Funimation, go check it out. So I think that's going to cover my recommendations for classics. Those are mine. If you talk to other people, they're probably going to have their set of classics that they would recommend. By no means, I've not seen that many compared to some other people I know. When I listen to some other folks online talking about shows, I'm usually like, oh wow, I've never heard of that one. That sounds really cool. For instance, May, I'm going to talk about you again because you introduced me to Tante Opera Milky Homes, especially Futariwa. You were talking about that, which incidentally has a Bandori connection because the 2 voice actresses in Futariwa Milky Homes are Aimi and Ayasa, who are Arisa and Kasumi on Bang Dream, and then the supporting characters, at least in Futariwa, and the original foursome from Tante Opera Milky Homes. One of them is Mikaron, right? If I'm remembering right, and I think was it somebody was telling me is basically everybody in Glitter Green was Milky Homes. Am I correct in that? Anyway, or was that just a reference to the older group, the senpais looking over the kohais and going, they're gonna do great, which seems to happen in most anime. Yeah, so May has been telling me some stuff to... Yes, thank you. So that's another one that I want to check out, and it's... I'm going to say this without getting into trouble, because I don't know who's listening. Oh, they are. It is Glitter Green. Oh, that is cool. Anyway, another Bang Dream reference, guys. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. That's to you, Jay and Stuka. Go check it out, so you'll know exactly what we're talking about. Or I can tell you later what that's all about. Anyway, but yeah, poppin'party. Okay, so Yeah, so stuff like that. You know, people telling me, "Oh, you gotta check this out." There was another person on Twitter whose feed I'm following. He started talking about Heidi, Girl of the Alps, I think is the name of the show, which I have not seen, but I've seen bits and pieces of way back when I was a kid. That would show up on TV and go, "Oh, it's anime. Oh, it's Heidi. She's Swiss. Oh, what's," and you know, stuff like that. So to further explain my saying, "Oh, and I've seen bits and pieces of it here and there." When I was in high school, we had a after school club. We call ourselves the Sci-Fi Fantasy Club. The majority of time would be Thursday afternoons after school, from about 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. We'd all hang out on the third floor of the school building and play Dungeons and Dragons, or somebody would be playing BattleTech, or somebody was, talking about comic books or whatever, or we spent 2 hours watching anime or just sci-fi movies in one of the classrooms. TV would get brought in from AV. We had a VCR. Lights would go off, and in would go, whatever was Monty Python and the Holy Grail, because that's fantasy, right? Knights and killer rabbits. Or we'd be watching Cyborg. God, don't watch that. You don't want to watch. No, just no, thank you, Van Damme. No. That was awful. Why did we even? No, but that club was actually some of where I got to see a lot of anime. We had this one guy named, oh geez, I just blanked on his name. Anyway, we had this. I'll remember. We had this one guy who had a Japanese connection. I think he said it was a cousin who lived in Japan, or a relative or something, or somebody who knew somebody who lived in Japan. He was able to get his hands on anime videotapes, so we were able to actually watch the Macross movie, Love Do You Remember, or Do You Remember Love, in the original with no subtitles, kind of grainy copy, because I think it was like 2 or 3 generations removed, and the sound was it would like cut in and out at certain points, but we got to see Macross, so that was really cool. So we got to watch that. That's where I first started watching Bubblegum Crisis. That's how we got to see Akira. We got to see, oh god, Legend of the Overfiend. Should not be something to be watched when you're in high school and you didn't know exactly what you're getting into, because that shit was weird. Oh my, if you're curious, it's like horror hentai, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. That and Wicked City. I think it was also called Wicked City Shinjuku. No, it's not for the faint of heart, and I don't even want to think about those. But at 14 years old, you probably shouldn't be something you ought to watch. But anyway, so that was a club where he would bring in these videotapes of stuff that he'd gotten from Japan, or from his, quote, cousin. That's how I got to see. That's where I first saw the Daikon 4 opening animation. If you guys can watch that, I think there's several different versions floating around on YouTube. Check it out. It's early Gainax. They did the animation for this, and it's set to the song "Time" by Electric Light Orchestra, and it's really cool. It's basically Bunny Girl on a flying sword, kicking ass through various anime worlds. And if that sounds interesting, go check it out, because that's basically what totally got me into more and more anime since high school. It didn't stop at just Nausicaa, which I found out later was, or Warriors of the Wind, that I found out later was Nausicaa. That's where I got into Dirty Pair, Bubblegum Crisis, everything else. So that was high school. That was when I started. that was where some of these other shows that I had never seen, Space Adventure Cobra, somehow he got, I think he was either part of a movie or he was in like a commercial or something. He got footage somewhere. That's where I saw it. So yeah, little bits and pieces of various anime through the years would show up that afternoon, and then you go, oh yeah, I just got this from my buddy, whatever that meant to him. So back to the recommendations. Those would be mine: Nausicaa, Macross, Gundam, Orange Road, Urusei Yatsura, Maison Ikoku, which I've never seen. So here's some more about these things that I've never seen. Why do I know about them? Where am I just Googling them and saying, oh yeah, I read about it on Wikipedia. Back when I first started watching anime, I had gone to a convention in San Francisco with my friends in high school. It was basically a Robotech convention, one of the earliest Robotech conventions that I remember. Tony Oliver was the guest of honor for that one. And if you guys ever watched Robotech, he was the voice of Rick Hunter, Hikaru Ichijo from the original Macross show. And at that convention, I remember going into the dealer's room, and I was buying a bunch of, I think the Macross TV series photo novels. So it was basically manga, but they had the stills from the anime, along with, and it wasn't in English, it was still in Japanese, so I couldn't read it, but I could look at the pictures and remember, oh, I remember that episode. Oh yeah, they cut out that scene because, there was the original Japanese. But I bought a bunch of photo novels. I started buying Dirty Pair stuff at that convention because I'd heard about them. And I ran across this one table where this guy was selling a guide to Japanese animation. And it was basically a survey booklet of anime through the years. So it was a whole bunch of, I think there was something like 30 different programs or 30 different shows, and I want to say it was probably a film festival of anime, if I remember right. So they were showing all these movies and parts of a TV show, and this guide was sort of here's what this show is about, here's some a little rundown, a little synopses of them, and it was, I think, maybe like 50 or 70 pages, and it was a nice folded book, nice cover art, and the inside had illustrations or black and white drawings, probably taken from the art books from these shows. And this is where I first found out that what I thought was Warriors of the Wind was actually Noshka, because it was right in the middle of this booklet, and I was looking at the characters that I had seen in the movie, but it was not called Warriors of the Wind. This was also where I learned about Sherlock Hound, Legend of Kamui, Area 88, some of the other classic shows from the 70s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, Astro Boy. What else? There was a couple of other ones. Space Adventure Cobra. Oh yeah, Captain Harlock. Space Battleship Yamato. They were in there. I think the Yamato movie, one of the early Yamato movies, was referenced in there. So that booklet basically was my intro to sort of anime history, at least as far as you got in the mid to late 80s, 86 to 90, somewhere in there, because that was about the time that I was in high school, and that's when I was learning about all this stuff. So all this other stuff, Space Adventure Cobra, I had seen there. I also had, Macross was featured in there. So this is where I'm getting all that stuff. I remember all this because my mind is a sieve. No, it's not a steel sieve. No, because it's fun stuff to remember. And then, everything else. That's what Google and Wikipedia are for, is to find out all the details. This is where I first heard about Ashita no Joe, Tomorrow's Joe, Like I said, Sherlock Hound. So when people were going off about Beastars and Odd Taxi, wow, this is really cool. Nobody's done this before. I said, wait a second. What about that Sherlock Holmes with a dog that was back in the 70s? So yeah, let's remember where we came from. It's a little bit of that. So not in the sense of gatekeeping, but let's find out what came before, so we can speak well and speak more roundly about kind of in a big survey. It's like those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. If we didn't know what was going on, in the Peloponnesian War, not that I know anything about the Peloponnesian War, but we screw up everything else further on because it's already been happening. That sort of thing. So I hesitate to say that everything that's been done has been done and there's nothing new. It's just all in the story, but if we forget where the stories came from and think everything is just what it is now, we kind of I think we miss out, because there's lots of things that can resonate across time. Going back to the Lovecraft stuff, I think a nod to what was going on before. Okay, here's something I mean. This is I was talking about back in the 80s. There was a character called Golgo 13 who was basically an assassin for hire, right? And there was I believe there was a manga, a couple of movies, and I think there was an anime, or maybe it was just a series of OVAs that they had mid 80s. I think it ran from the late 80s into 2000s. So basically, he was a professional assassin, that type of thing. So I bring this up because I think it's interesting to see how the past gets, and again, we talked about this last time, how anime inspires. So we heard Sing Girls being done by Poppin'party as an enka song, right? So here's something I'm talking about. This is from an anime called Tada Never Falls in Love. The scene takes place in Tada's family's cafe, and in the middle of the sequence, the characters are off talking, and suddenly we get this shot. Recognize anybody interesting? If you've seen Golgo 13, that's him right there. He's sitting in a coffee shop somewhere in Japan. He's a side character. He doesn't talk. He doesn't, he's just sort of like this guy who shows up every episode whenever they're in the cafe. He drinks coffee and he leaves. It's like you kind of wonder when he's off killing people, and then when he's done, I'm going to go to this cafe, have an espresso, and sit and listen to people talk. So for them to do that, and I'm not sure, and I've been looking up stuff about the show if there was some kind of connection to that character, but I thought, how cool is that? To have a well-known character show up in this little anime, I thought that's kind of cool. It's stuff like that I think has a nice. It resonates more. It's like your Easter eggs that you find. If you know exactly what the Easter egg is, it's even more cool. It's even more fun when you find it. Going, as May would say, I understood that reference. Yeah, right, May? To most of the stuff that I said, she'll throw me this Steve Rogers image as Captain America. I understood that reference because, it's that everything has a past, and when we give a nod to the past, I think that makes things even cooler in the long run. So I'm looking at the clock right now. We are at 10:16. I think if there's anything else anybody wants to throw up in chat to talk about, I'm happy to do so. But those would be my anime recs in terms of classics. Go check them out. See see where we came from, and then you can see where we're going. Because I think that's pretty cool when we can, and the more that we can reference some of that, it what am I trying to say? Actually, I'm not sure exactly what I'm trying to say. There's a thought there. It's floating. It didn't quite finish, but hopefully I kind of made my point in terms of classics. So next week, I made mention real quick about. I think let's talk about subs and dubs. Subtitled versus dubbed anime. What do you prefer? I'll tell you what I prefer. We'll do it next week. Next week actually is gonna be a fun one because it's my birthday weekend. So I think I'm gonna do some cool stuff. How would you guys like a concert for my birthday show? It's probably gonna get me in trouble because these are gonna be karaoke covers. So if I get a copyright strike, well, that's on my own damn fault. But I think I'm gonna sing for you guys. So I'm gonna do some cool stuff. Let's have a mini concert. Maybe I'll do like 2 or 3 songs next week to celebrate my birthday. And I hope you guys can join me. Let's talk. Yeah, let's talk about. Let's talk subs and dubs. What do you guys think about? Which one do you prefer? Which one's better? Ooh, there we go. We can get some hot takes. Are dubs better than subs, or the other way around? Are subs better than dubs? Wrong kind of subs. Don't you people? I know where you're going. Maybe that's just me going there. Let's talk about that next time. And I'll have another I'm Maho tribute, because I've got another one that's floating in my hard drive that I want to share with everybody. And let's do that. What do you guys think? Good. Concert next week. We'll talk about dubs and subs. And if something else comes up in the middle of the week that you want me to talk about, oh, that's good to hear, May. I will. Yeah, let's discuss that next week. We've got one vote for subs. Do we have a vote for dubs, or shall we take it? Let's take it up next week. We'll do a poll and see what people think. But yeah, so later on, it's either later tonight or as soon as I can put them together, I will put up the show notes with all those links and stuff. Oh, speaking of links, I wanted to check, Laura, if you're still in the if in the chat. Were you able to get to those links I put last time for Right Stuff Anime, Animate USA, and what was it, CD Japan, to see if they're able to ship to you? Because I know a mutual friend from Twitter was telling me about you, and that you were looking for anime stuff in general, Bandori stuff in particular. Those 3 places have stuff, whether DVDs or whatnot, especially CD Japan. Oh my god, they've the stuff that they have in terms of books, DVDs, Blu-rays, music. I mean, that's where I got the IICD, and Imin's Restarting CD was from CD Japan. See if they ship to you, because that could be fun. You'll have your own stuff, more Bandori stuff. T-shirt, towel, yay! All right. So next week I will see you guys here. We're gonna start at the same time. Again, 8:00. 8:30 tonight, just because work ran late. So if that happens again, I will let you guys know. This will be fun. It'll be episode 5. We'll have music. I'll sing. I'll give you guys a little concert, and then we'll talk some more anime, because I'm really curious to see what's gonna happen on Saints Magic Power, because that's gonna be interesting, right? If you guys are watching, If you guys aren't watching, go check it out right now so you can catch up, and we'll talk about that, because I definitely will have thoughts, because Prince Kyle, ooh, I don't know about you. You scare me, dude. Dude, you're kind of you concern me. All right, I will now enjoy the Roselia cards. I'll open these up and tell you guys what I get next time. All right, we'll call it out for now, everyone. Thanks for coming to the chat. If we've got some people watching, come into chat next time. Thank you for hanging out tonight and watching. Yes, birthday weekend. It's gonna be fun. We'll see you guys next time. All right, here we go, and it's good night. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. Click the little bell thing so you'll know when we're coming up next. And we'll see you everybody next time. Good night.